this is the type of project, even though it was on Netflix, never would have greenlit it if I pitched this to them, because it's gritty, it's black and white, it's anti authority, it's counterculture. So it criticizes Hollywood and as well as our whole government and country and other countries. And so, anyways, it's not something they would have greenlit. And so I had to just make it myself. And the next one I'm going to make is I'm making it all myself. And I'll see if any of these companies want to buy it. And if not, I'll just release it myself.
Hey,
So,
listen. That's the thing now. Now I remember actually a couple of years ago. It was after we met at a protest, and you called me and you were telling me you were like, so I have a whole bunch of small cameras, and you were like, and I want to record myself doing sets, like even when I'm like practicing, like go on like Tuesday to the Comedy Cellar at 9 and throw down 15 minutes, and you were like, I want to be able to record it, and you were talking about using like small micro tech, shooting like low res, like for your own
yeah.
stuff, and then when the special came out, I was like, wow, he really ran with that, like.
Yeah, oh, yeah. So, you know, this is I kind of made this as a real like low budget independent filmmaker. The cameras I had were, Hollywood wouldn't consider them professional cameras. They might be under the prosumer brand of camera. And I didn't film it the way they film it. A lot of it was filmed with no camera people, where I just put a little camera on a little mini tripod or a little bendy arm thing, or I just put it on a backpack and on a stool in the back, and would film my sets that way. And then there were also many nights where I I got camera people. Most of them were film students or people who were just out of film school, and I did it handheld because I wanted a real feel to it. I didn't want this slick, overproduced, cookie cutter corporate kind of feel that most of the comedy specials have. I think stand up comedy is mostly a small platform art. It's like jazz. You don't want to see jazz at a stadium or an arena. You want to see it at a small, intimate room, and that's the way comedy is. So I filmed it in a way. I spent I spent about a year playing around with different angles and stuff, and I did my best to film it in a way so it just feels like you walked in some little dark room and you're just catching the show. And so in it, you'll see servers, wait staff, walking by, and you'll see some people getting up and going to the bathroom real quick, and so it captures, it's more documentary style than this. Here's a comedy special, and here's a swooping crane shot, and here's a shot of everyone in the audience. It's
Fly
just
the jib, fly the jib. You're like,
Yeah, it
really?
has
Like,
nothing to do with comedy, So
I
uh,
watch I watched like the last few Kevin Hart specials that he did on Netflix,
yeah. Uh-huh.
and I honestly think everybody has been chasing Eddie Murphy raw. Not Eddie Murphy Delirious, because Delirious was kind of stripped down, even though it was big stage. But Eddie
Sure.
Murphy Raw, if you remember, they had like the 15-minute intro piece where he's like walking through the back of Madison Square Garden. He's
A
putting
lot of
on the
hype.
leather
A lot of hype.
jacket. He's
Yeah.
giving everybody the high five. And now that's like the standard for every comedy special you see. It's like some weird, overproduced 20-minute intro that ends with a back shot of the guy walking onto stage live, and then they clip to the main camera. Like every camera,
Yeah.
they're all the
So
same now.
basically, you're right. So I basically made an anti-special, and in the comedy business, it's like a smaller version of what's going on nationally. As the comedy business, it keeps getting more and more corporate. Just like America gets more and more corporate. It gets more and more razzle dazzle. Look at this shiny light over here while we wreck things over here. So I went the opposite route, and